Hey everyone. So simple cable replacement. All right, we'll take a look at this again in a minute. On a Toro front wheel drive. And it's really very much the same on like Craftsman's, MTD, AYP style bodies. Like I said, this case, we're just going to be doing the front wheel drive. It's front wheel drive Toro. These are the newer ones, or somewhat newer. High wheel in the back. It can have what I call low wheels. It doesn't really make a difference. Now, I get these online, Amazon, and they were very inexpensive. This one I've had for a little while. There's a couple of different types, and you'll see more about it. But I get a kick out of this. Look at that. Look, it says so professional because focus. So professional. And you can see the part number here, 532407816. There's a couple of different variations. This one has the spring on the end. They're all a little bit different, right? The spring. Most of them will all work. And again, we'll talk about it a little bit more at the end. If you have your model number still, you can look it up. But you don't necessarily have to get like the part, right? Which you're going to spend a lot more money on. These things are cheap. And I'll buy a few at a time, and they'll sit around. A lot of times I can kind of clean these cables up. I take them out, and I run them through with my cable louver. Let me get you that. Hold on. Oh, here's a cable louver. Cheap stuff you can get on Amazon. Some are better than others. Like, they're cheap. They clamp onto the end of the cable. A lot of times you have to take that little end off. You can twist it off. I have a number of videos on doing this kind of stuff, so I don't want to like recover everything. Mostly this is an inspirational video. It's a short video because I'm going to show you how to do it, but I think mostly what I notice is people throw out these beautiful machines, and you'll see this machine's really nice. They throw out these machines for the damnedest reasons. They just let everything go. It just goes to pot. And then it's one thing after the other. And if they would just clean them every now and then and maintenance them and replace the cable and get a cheap little cable louver. So it's really just to inspire you. Simple cables, high quality, right? And you might be thinking, well, they're crap. They're not that good. I don't know. Honestly, it looks like there's maybe two different manufacturers, probably in like Shenzhen or something, China. There's a couple of them. They're popping them out. And when you go to Amazon, you might, if I put up a part number, that manufacturer might not be supplying those cables anymore, or maybe that retailer. A lot of times what you'll see is the manufacturers are making them for different, quote, retailers. And the retailers are just people marketing this stuff, making the connection. They're the ones that make the connection to the manufacturers over there and then try to get them to market here in the United States using Amazon or something. And the cables, I've noticed the variety of them, like this one is more of an old school. It's just the wound wire with like a vinyl cover. Some of them are a little bit better. They have a little thicker wire cover over the wire. Honestly, they're all about the same quality because focus. So quality. So professional because focus. You're going to get me stuck on that, right? I talk about this kind of crap sometimes on my live shows, usually every Saturday between, 8:30, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Check out that stuff. Let's get into the video. I just really want to inspire you. Don't get hung up. Yes, you can go get stems and rotary. And seriously, fellas, for your lawnmower, things are getting really expensive. Take a peek around Amazon. I see some questions occur sometimes. People just don't know how to look for parts. When you're looking on your phone, right? Your phone, which is now plugged in, being charged, right? So it's kind of tethered. When you're looking on your phone and you're trying to find stuff, fellas, don't use your phone. Go to a laptop, go to your computer, get a desktop, get a laptop, get something. The browsers are different. You can't see anything. And for those of us that are getting older and you got to put your glasses on, you're all thumbs, you can't find it. It's a different browser. It's a different experience. Phones suck, all right? Just go to Amazon, open up a nice big page, go get yourself a good monitor. I don't know. You can't find anything on a phone. Like I said, it's just totally different experience. There's plenty of stuff out there. I was on some show the other day, and some guy's asking if he could get like a 10 horsepower. You can't find a 10 horsepower Tecumseh gasket, head gasket. I'm thinking, what do you mean? You just go to Amazon. They're all over the place. Take your old gasket out. Take a good look at it. Look at the bolt spacing, the number of bolts. Search the algorithm, right? Start off at Google. Simple. All this stuff is simple. Let's get to the video and just kind of, like I said, it's more of inspirational. It's a how-to and all, but it's short, and I'm going to take longer with this intro just to try to get you guys to just think about fixing your lawnmower and maintaining it. And I've got a lot of videos on that, and I get disappointed in a lot of these videos. If you really want to insist on throwing out your nice lawnmower that you haven't taken care of, email me, and I'll set you up so you can come over here and drop it off at my place, because I'll make a really nice machine out of it. Let's get started. All right, simple order of operations. All right, grab your cable. Over here, here's the hole. So you have to kind of hook it on that, and then you can slip it in here. All right, now what'll happen is you take this out, and you could do that. Now, sometimes they do this, and that's another way of doing it. So when you go to take it out, right, you got to slack up your cable enough. Of course, if it's broken, it's a lot easier. But you can slack it up enough to dip it down in there, and then you can pick it up, slide it through that notch, and then we got to grab the other end of the cable and pull the slack out, and poke it in there like so, and you're done. And just make sure these clips are in. And let me give you a little bit more light so that you can see it. Yeah, they're in. I just like to make sure, because I don't want to come out. Let me show you. Because it's dark, right? It's black, so it might be a little hard to see, but you can see the arrangement there. And that part is done. So this is all cleaned out. I put a little lube underneath here. I like to put a little lube up on the bearings and everything. Of course, I like to take the wheels off and clean everything. But that part's done. Let's go to the other shot that I'm setting up, and we'll install the cable from there. And we'll test it with the cover off first, just to make sure everything is okay. And then I'll show you how I put the cover on. So up here on the handle, all right, we could leave this cable in, but we're just going to drape this down here, and there's a spot that it kind of comes through. There's a holder down here. And we'll pick it up through that, and we'll drop the cable in through this. Sometimes you have to pry this open a little bit, but you got to pull the bolt back. Pry it a little bit with a screwdriver. It will go all the way through. A little greasy. And then we're going to come over here. I'll show you. We'll get it up through this guy. And just poke that through. Just kind of snug this one up a little bit. Get it in position. Now this is adjustable, so you can kind of, as the cable and belt stretches, you can loosen this up and retighten it. So we're just going to pull the slack out of it. All right, and I'm just going to leave it just a touch of slack to start off with, because it's a new cable. And you're going to adjust it, so what you really want is enough cable tightness in terms of adjustment so that it engages. But you don't want to make it so hard. You want a little bit of cable flex here, and handle flex on this. And I'm pulling up just with my fingers, so I think that's good. Because if you over tighten it, right, you're putting a lot of extra stress on it, on your hand, and you want some slack. You need that belt to slack a bit, because that's your clutch, that's your neutral. All right, so let's go test the machine. All right, so I got the cover on, And it's just a couple of bolts over here and one here. And I like to use a 1/4-inch drive, fellas. Just everything for me is like 1/4-inch 3/8. You don't need a lot of force. If you have a problem with those bolts and they're a little stripped out, you can epoxy them. You can put a tie wrap, small tie wrap, some bread ties, and maybe even a little red Loctite, because sometimes the plastic breaks a little, so there's ways of dealing with that. It's nice when everything is clean. It's so much easier to deal with. I like to lubricate the bearings, and over here, this is like a bushing in the transmission, and it's just a nice service. So I think we're good here. Let's finish up. Now you can see the cables, right? You could leave them like that. In the bag came a couple of tie wraps, nice black tie wraps, but I got a couple here that just, little crappy tie wraps, and probably put a few here. Now on this handle, it folds up, these little blue things here, right? You just twist them up and you can store the handle. That's actually a neat little feature on this model. So I'm just going to try that and just put a couple, and no matter where you go, right, no matter what you do, you want to be careful here because of the muffler. And so I'm going to try this and see. And just neaten it up for yourself or for the customer. And I think that looks a lot better, and it's staying out of the way, and it's kind of nice. And you got to have some slack, right? So that when the handle goes up and down, it has a place to go. All right, just to summarize, all right, so this is a 68-inch cable, customary to the front-wheel drive Toros. Pretty much all the front-wheel drive Toros, whether they have a high wheel in the back or a standard, I call them low wheels, that's the cable size. I also do something very similar to the ignition cable. It's known as the zone control, the engine bail. I call it the kill cable, right? Kill and start cable. I usually start off with kind of pulling the ends off and trying to put some lubricant through or cleaning them or whatever, and I give them a shot. But it is very similar. I do have a little different technique for doing that, and you can check out one of my videos on how to fix one of those cables as well. So I put a stainless steel insert inside of the cable if the outer sheath is in good shape. And of course it won't rot. Once you lubricate it and stick it in there, it's going to be like a forever cable, but there's a little bit of a technique involved in that. So I think it came out really good. This is a really nice machine. There are other videos on this machine and working on this machine, including a bit of paint education to get it looking like this, some repairs, drive fixes, going over the front drive system. But this is it for this one. The cables came out nice. Everything is, sort of back to normal, and if not better. Feels really nice. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching this episode of Archer's Garage.